holidays and welcome to Bookmas Day 9. We are 3 days away from the end of Bookmas, and then we are 12 days away from Christmas. So much to do, so little time, but we're going to get into this video. We are going to be going over all of the book series that I am currently in the middle of, and we're going to be discussing if I'm going to be continuing them, if I'm going to be putting them on hold, or if I'm going to be DNFing them going into 2026. In yesterday's video, I went over my personal library tracker, and in my personal library tracker, I also track the number of series I own. And if you remember correctly, there were 75 book series that I currently own on my bookshelves. And of those 75 book series, I have 22 book series that I'm currently in the middle of. So we are going to be going through all 22 book series and talking about whether I'm continuing them or whether I am not going to be continuing that. So I do have my lovely computer here. So here is the page. This page is fairly new. I just completed it within the last week. So it's not completely filled out and everything, so we're gonna be doing that together. So the first book series that we have here is the Powerless Trilogy by Lauren Roberts. This is one that I started, I believe, last year, and I got through Powerless and I really enjoyed it. And I ended up picking up the rest of the trilogy, but never got around to reading it. I don't have the novella yet either, and I do need to get that as well. But we will be continuing the Powerless Trilogy going into 2026 I am going to put to in progress. So we will be continuing it. Then moving on to the next one, we have the Prison Healer Trilogy by Lynette Noni. The Prison Healer I actually read when it first came out, and I was intrigued at the time, and I did enjoy the first book, but it's been quite a few years since I've read it. Now when I think about it, I don't think that if I would pick it up now, I would enjoy it as much. So we are actually, unfortunately, going to be DNFing this trilogy. I just don't think that I'm going to enjoy the books trilogy as much as I used to. Then moving down, we have the Inheritance Games. I have finished the preliminary Inheritance Games series, so this is completed. However, then we have the Grandest Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I do have the first book. I don't have the second book, and the third book is not yet released. However, I do plan on continuing this in 2026 because I use Jennifer Lynn Barnes as my get out of a reading slump card. So I will put in progress. Technically, it's also on hold because it's not a priority for 2026. Then moving on to the next one, we have Empire of the Vampire Trilogy. This is by Jay Kristoff. These are books I definitely want to get to in 2026. They are a high priority for me. So I am going to put in progress for these ones because I just love Jay Kristoff. I love his writing. I love his world building. I love his characters. And I love the most saddest, tragic moments in his book. I'm a sucker for them. I don't know why. Call me a masochist. Then we have Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I do own all three of these. I do see myself wanting to read them, but they're not a priority for next year. If I finish some of the other priority ones, maybe I'll get to it. But for now, it is going to be considered on hold. Then we have the Spartan Trilogy. This one is a really fun YA fantasy, YA historical fantasy. This takes place, I believe, in ancient Greece, and it has Spartans, and it has, you know, the Greek gods and everything. There is a romance between a human and a god, but is it a 2026 priority? It is not. So this one is also going to go on hold. The same for the next one, which is the Dark Rise Duology by C.S. Pacat. I ended up absolutely loving the first book when it came out. However, will I get to it in 2026? I hope so. It is just the duology, but I'm also putting this one on hold for now. Then we have Between Earth and Sky by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is a Native American fantasy trilogy, and it was something that really intrigued me. I thought the magic system was going to be really unique. I actually have not read it yet. Am I going to start it in the new year? The chances are maybe, but probably not. So this one is also going to be on hold. Then we have the Poppy War Trilogy by R.F. Kuang. I absolutely loved the first one, The Poppy War. It was unique. I loved the characters. I loved the moral grayness of all of our characters. I loved the magic system. It was amazing, and they are a priority for me. So this is going to be considered in progress. It is going to be a high priority for 2026. Then we have the Davabad trilogy. This is by S.A. Chakraborty. So I actually read The City of Brass when it first came out, and at the time I did not enjoy it because my reading tastes were very different than what they are now. If I would go back and reread it, I think I would really like it. So the Davy trilogy, while I do want to continue it and do want to give it a second chance, it is not a priority for 2026, so we are going to be considering it on hold. Then we have the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. I've yet to continue the rest of the trilogy or anything in that Cosmere universe, so I'm definitely wanting to finish it next year, so it's going to be considered in progress. It is a priority for me. Then we have the Nixia duology. This is The Serpent and the Wings of Night and The Ashes and Starcursed King by Carissa Broadbent. I really enjoyed it. I actually am going to consider this one a priority for next year. I do want to finish them because I do want to get to the rest of the books that are coming out in that Nixia universe. Then we have the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. I've read the first 2 books. I have not read Onyx Storm yet. And then the 4th book I think is a to be determined one, so I am going to consider this one on hold. Belladonna series, and this is by Adeline Grace. I do want to continue the Belladonna series into 2026. I love the dark gothic setting that we have, so we are going to actually be keeping on the continuation of that. Okay, this next one. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to have comments about this, but it is Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. So here's the thing. I think I've talked about this in some past videos. Let's just say it. I'm DNFing the series. I'm not going to be continuing anymore with the Crescent City series. I read the first book and I thought it was okay. And then what happened was I was going to read the second book, but the thing is unfortunately with social media, it was so overly talked about, you could not escape spoilers. I knew everything that happened in that book from page 1 to the end. And then I just kind of was also slipping out of my Sarah J. Maas. Not that I don't like her anymore, I just found books that I preferred more. Crescent City is going to be DNF'd. I'm not going to be continuing it. And then of course ACOTAR by Sarah J. Maas. When Sarah J. Maas first came out with her books, I really enjoyed her writing. And that point in time in history, I loved her books. They were what I needed at that time. I will be DNFing this series as well. Then we have the Sansi trilogy. This is by Chelsea Abdullah. I really liked this idea. It took place in almost ancient Egypt. It had a very interesting magic system with jinn and everything. And at the time I did think I was going to continue with them. Even though the 3rd book is not out, I will not be continuing with this series. There, once again, is more books that I want to read over this one. So we are going to be DNFing that one as well. Then we have Assistant to the Villain, and I am definitely caught up with every book that has been released from Assistant to the Villain. I love this series. The 4th one is coming out in 2026, which I'm very excited about. This one is actually up to date. I am up to date with this one, and actually I'm waiting for publication of the 4th one. Then we have Secrets of the Nile. This one is a new duology to my shelves. So I did get What the River Knows a few weeks ago by Isabel Ibanez. I haven't read it yet, but this is one that I definitely want to read in 2026. Then we have Heartstopper, and these are those beautiful graphic novels between Charlie and Nick. A beautiful, stunning love story, and we're finally getting the final volume in 2026. So this one is currently up to date, but I am waiting for the publication of the final book. And then the last series that I am currently in the middle of, and one that I honestly, now that I think about it, shouldn't have been in the first place, and that is the Prince of Sin trilogy by Kara Maniscalco. This is the spin-off series to the Kingdom of the Wicked, and I had thought at the time you could read them without reading Kingdom of the Wicked. No, I'm sorry, I think people out there are saying that you can. No, you definitely can't, especially that first one. That first one takes place literally right after the end of Kingdom of the Feared, and I was spoiled. I still want to finish them, but I was spoiled. I found out what happened. However, that being said, I will be continuing this in 2026. So this is where we are going into 2026. Definitely quite a few series I still want to get through and finish. That is the goal of next year. We are going to be completing series in 2026, which I have a few video ideas for that as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know in the comments below what book series you are hoping to get to and or finish in the new year. I will see you guys in my next Bookmas video. Bye!